Hey guys, Steve and Brian here from Nuts Off Gaming. We are doing a top 5 series. It's all encompassing of the NOG Talk series, but figured we'd do some of our top 5 things since Brian and I kind of are opinionated on things and want to get our ideas out there, and we'll see how we match up. So our first episode of the top 5 series is going to be top 5 best Overwatch characters. Now, by best, just to kind of define this, is not necessarily our favorite. It's what we consider to be maybe what is best team player or what is the most beneficial player to help your team win. So with that, I think Brian is a little bit more experienced in Overwatch, and I kind of trust his judgment a little bit more. So how we're going to go about this episode is more Brian will go from his top 5, going 5 up to 1, and then if any of those characters show up on my list as well, I'll just kind of display those wherever they are and add to that. So before even going into any of this, I have no idea what Brian's top 5 are at all. And Brian, you don't know mine, correct?
No. I have an idea of who you would pick based on how you play, but I have no idea.
Of course. So this is completely new to us, is what the others are picking as well. So not sure how many are going to overlap or not, but we'll see. So with that, Brian, any other opening comments before we get into it?
Yes. My top 5 is the one that should be taken, without fault. And that doesn't just include Steve's top 5. That includes any other list of Overwatch characters, including Jeff Kaplan's. Mine is pretty much the law.
Okay, so I guess every team should have this set of 5 plus one random character.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, please reveal your number 5.
Number 5! Alright, so my number 5 best character in Overwatch is the Western gunslinger McCree. And,
Ooh, are you serious?
absolutely. I know that that style of character is not your forte because you're not very accurate with your shots, but McCree is pretty much a sniper without actually having to zoom in as a sniper. He has very little fall-off damage with a very long range and almost no travel time. McCree, being a sniper that's not actually a sniper, he can shoot a lot faster than Widowmaker, but still be just as effective. And he has the flashbang and the fan the hammer at close range, which I believe can take out anyone except for a full health tank. So all the characters with 250 down to the characters with 150, if you exclude any shield generator from Symmetra or armor from Torbjorn. I believe if he stuns them and fans the hammer and doesn't miss ridiculously, then I think he can take down any non-tank character. Don't quote me on that because I have not tested every single one, but I believe that's true. So, what he's good at, he can obviously take down Pharah. So he's a good counter to Pharah. He's what people call a hit scan character, but I think what he's good for is just dealing a lot of damage. And since he has that long range, he's pretty safe, especially if the healers are in the back, and he'll probably be in the back. So he shouldn't die unless the enemy just charges right through. And if he's accurate, he's going to be taking down a lot of enemies. So you obviously disagreed right off the bat. So do you have any...
So McCree is not in my top 5.
Okay.
So what do you have anything else to add as far as... So you've talked a lot about just normal gameplay. Do you have anything to add on his ult?
Yeah, I haven't tested out again against the tanks, but obviously his ult is High Noon, or Deadeye, I believe, but he says High Noon.
Yeah.
Any
Yep.
any of the 6 characters that are in his line of sight, as long as he has a couple seconds to zone in on them, he will take them down when he pulls the trigger. I think it's like a 6-second window that he has to zone in, and if he doesn't shoot, obviously nothing happens. A lot of times you could also use that just to scare away the enemy. Like, let's say we're pushing on Watch Point Gibraltar, and we're close to that first door once we get up the hill, and McCree comes out and does his high noon. Maybe the enemy will start scattering. That lets us kind of jump on the point and push forward, and maybe we can push through that first point. Also, just jumping behind the enemy team, doing a little reach around, and just wiping them out. McCree can get...
Who doesn't love a reach around?
McCree can get a sextuple kill by himself, which is very rare for some of the alts. With minimal effort, I guess. So his ult is also, I mean, you don't have to do anything except wait and then know when to pull the trigger. So it's pretty much easy mode engaged. So here's a stat for you. So he uses 1 bullet per target, 100 or 250 damage per second casting, or give or take. And the travel time is about just under 2 meters per second. So it's pretty much instantaneous. Once you fire it, you can take him out. And I guess, yeah, it's up to 6 seconds. So you can do the math. About 250 damage for 6 seconds. That's how much damage he can do.
I don't have anything to add for McCree. I would say for being a top 5 thing, he would definitely be in my top 5, probably number 1 of most badass characters. I mean, if there was anyone I'd want to talk like, it'd be McCree.
And he's one of the funniest characters.
Yeah, and I mean his skins are probably some of my favorite.
Do you love that USA cape skin?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. His summer skin, that was pretty good.
Yeah, the lifeguard.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good ones.
Number 4. Okay, so my number 4 best character to pick for Overwatch is the DJ support character Lucio.
Lucio is not on my top 5.
Wow, I guess we have 2 totally different ideas of how this game should be played. So Lucio...
Probably. You have a lot more experience than me, so to give a little bit of background, you have a lot more experience. You usually tell me who's a good person to pick to help the team.
Yeah.
I don't have as good vision, so my top 5 is probably not as
I
good.
cannot wait to hear yours. So Lucio is a great support character because he is passive in all of his healing. Because if you're just in his field of or area of effect, and obviously if he has the healing on and not the speed. Although, well, the speed helps, but just for healing, he doesn't have to do anything except be there and be alive. And since he heals himself, he is is very self-sustainable. Like, usually, unless the enemy team focuses the Lucio, he tends to be one of the last people alive in a firefight. He does the healing. He can also, using his crossfade, switch to increase movement speed. So, if, for example, you're trying to push through a choke point, if you combine the movement speed, possibly with his ult, there should be no problem. Like, getting through that door at Hanamura, which usually ends up being like 90% of the match is just stuck behind that door. You just break it down, move, and then boost it up right through using the speed boost. You should be able to push right in, and hopefully, if everyone in the rest of the team does their job, you should be able to take point A, just as an example. Obviously, Lucio cannot win the game himself unless he wall rides around the back and somehow boops people off with his, like, sonic boom or soundwave, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I feel that Lucio is also pretty user-friendly because his wall riding is probably the only thing, or the hardest part of his kit, and then maybe knowing when to switch back and forth between speed and health, that comes with experience. Everything else about him is pretty straightforward, and so if you're not very good and you know that your team needs a healer, Lucio is definitely a decent pick, especially on like a control point, because if you're just healing everyone on the point, it's hard for the enemy to take the point away from you. He can, his main fire is shooting those like bursts of like sound waves, and then he has the what did I say it was called, the sound wave? Yeah, he just boops people away. So if anyone gets close, just boop them away. Otherwise, just pepper them with damage. Build your ult. When you know the enemy team is about to ult or about to push, break it down. You give everyone in that large area a massive health bonus that slowly degrades over time, which can make or break a match pretty much. If you can hold that point when they're trying to push and they use their ults, that could win a round, that could win a game, that could get you some competitive ranking points.
Number 3!
My number 3 character, and I think this will probably shock you, I have the third best character in Overwatch to pick is Mercy. I think Steve put Mercy at number 1. Don't tell me what it is, but that's where my prediction that you put her at. I think that she is one of the most valuable characters in the game. We've mentioned in one of our the NOG talks about the Mercy update that she has the highest pick rate. I believe that whenever we made that video, I don't think that's changed. I still think she has the highest pick rate of any character.
I would imagine so. I mean, I would say I very rarely see a team without a Mercy. It just is someone who, as far as healing perspective, no one heals faster. I mean, maybe the downside is it's only one person at a time, except in her ult. But the ability to be able to bring back someone, especially in the heat of a fight, having people on the battlefield is number 1. I mean, you could have 3 of the best players against 6, but it's just overwhelming. If you have 6 people I guess 5 aside from the Mercy on the battlefield, that's your best chance at winning.
And I mean, when she revives someone, they have full health immediately. So that right there is just you could let someone die while like keeping a more important character alive, like a tank or something, and you just let like the Tracer die, and then when the tank is fine on healing, you just cast that revive and heal the Tracer, and she can jump back out there and do whatever. But you kept the tank alive, which maybe was the more important thing. So that right. Also comes with experience.
Yeah, and I mean and when everyone else on the team is fine, just buffing their power. I mean, so if you're holding the spot and you got like a Reinhardt in front blocking the damage coming in, I mean, all you're doing is basically getting all those people that are coming in killed faster. So I'm pretty much on both ends of in my opinion, the best character there is.
So Mercy also has a passive ability. She heals 20 health per second after not taking damage for 1 second. So she, along with Lucio, has that sustainability. Lucio can amp up his healing by like 70%, I believe. So that might be the only reason why he has more sustainability. But who knows? They're both very good, and they should stay alive. You need to protect them. That's for sure. Again, she's like Lucio. I think she's very I don't want to say noob friendly, but that's kind of she's very easy to pick up, but obviously every character is hard to master. So if you can get the basics.
But like me, I mean, sometimes you're forced into being Mercy. I mean, as a team, you need a healer, and half the time people just pick whoever they want, no healer. So someone has to pick it.
Yeah, I think,
and that's the best go-to, I would say.
I would say if solo support, Mercy is the top choice, and You'll run into that a lot when you're solo queuing competitive, or if there's just two of you, or even if there's just three of you. You'll immediately see Genji, McCree, who else?
Hanzo,
yeah, Junkrat. Those will pop up. There'll be two characters left. One of them, you probably will need to pick a support, and Mercy is probably the best for the general public. Obviously, if you're a Ana main or a Lucio main or someone else is your main, go with what you're comfortable with, but definitely Mercy is always a good team pick in terms of support.
Number 2!
My number 2 Overwatch best pick character is Reinhardt. And this is where kind of the opinion comes in, because I don't know what the current meta is. The last time I checked, it was this dive meta that it was a lot of D.va, Winston, heavy tanks. Just jump in there, try and win the fight right away. If you can't win the fight, either die or back off. So it was all about quick characters. Like Lucio was a big character. I think Tracer was big in there. Genji probably as well. But some of the more classic metas that I have preferred are the triple tank or the 2-2-2, and Reinhardt was always kind of the cornerstone of those, because his barrier is pretty much second to none in terms of a tank ability. Like Orissa's is quite good, and Winston is good as well, but they cannot move theirs like how Reinhardt can. So it's got, and I think his might be the strongest at 2,000 damage, or 2,000
Yeah, I
health.
think so.
And then when he puts it down for 2 seconds, it'll heal almost 200 per second. I believe it's 195. So it comes back pretty quick if you walk into a room or step away or something, or someone else steps up, like a D.va steps up and throws up her defense matrix, or Orisa or Winston, someone else does something, or even if you just go around the corner, just wait a couple seconds and that shield will be back in no time. Another key thing about your shield, never let it be destroyed. Always leave at least 1 health if you can, because if a D.va drops her D.va bomb or any like something like that, that 1 health, I believe, can still protect the team, and it will be destroyed right then, but at least the rest of your team didn't die because you didn't have a shield to protect them from a D.va bomb. I'm not sure what other characters like that kind of would be as important for. Obviously, because if other characters ult, they're gonna break your shield. But I think in terms of,
I mean, I think the big thing that I guess would combat the Reinhardt, like a Bastion, like that can get the shield down really quick. Like a lot of people do that on Hanamura.
Yeah, that's a good thing for defense.
But I mean, aside from that, I mean, usually the shield lasts quite a bit.
Yeah, it definitely does. And without the shield, he has 300 health with 200 armor. So I think he's one of the strongest characters in terms of health. I think most tanks are kind of around that 500. And so with his shield, it seems like he's one of the hardest tanks to take down, just because he seems like it's taking forever. You have to put so much damage into him just to get him out of there. I'd
agree. It's a good character.
He only has 1 long range. It's not even long range, I guess. 1 range attack is his Fire Strike, which I believe can cut through barriers. I know it can cut through another Reinhardt shield. Yes. I don't know about...
Yeah, it can go through Orisa, too.
I don't know about... I'm guessing, well, obviously not Zarya's bubble, because she would soak up the damage. That's kind of her thing. But that thing will just, you shoot it and it just keeps going, and it'll go through a line of people and do damage on them all. That's like a great combo. Like if you ult, fire strike, charge, and swing, and like just his kit added together just can add up to one badass dude. Other than that, like his charge is great because if you pin someone, anyone who's not a tank, it's instant death once they hit the wall. I think most tanks will survive it, but it obviously packs a huge punch, and then if you swing once or twice after that, they're toast.
Yeah, it is a stun too, even if it's not a kill.
Yes.
Not a long stun, but it's a minor stun.
Now the charge is great, but it leaves you very vulnerable. So be smart with it, people. Do not just charge into the enemy team with no plan of what's going on, because you'll screw over your other team.
Who would do that?
I can think of at least one person who might do that. But then his Earth Shatter is, I think it's a very, very good ult, because anyone in that like cone of effect that he has, stunned, knocked to the ground. Like Orisa and maybe Zarya with a bubble shield might be the only things that can counter that, other than like running away. Or no, I think May's ice shield thing, or like when she protects herself in a little ice cube, that can probably protect as well. But stun everyone, knock them to the ground, and then you can get that achievement to, I think you stun, fire strike, and charge maybe, and you hit someone.
Yep.
Easy achievement. It should be one of the easiest ones in the game, because I mean it's simple. It's 1, 2, 3. Number one.
Woo!
The number one best character to pick, I believe, is Soldier 76.
All right, Soldier 76 is on my top 5.
Yeah, no surprise. I wouldn't be surprised if he was your number 2 character, but we'll find out in a few moments. He's the transition from any other first-person shooter to Overwatch. He is what any other soldier is. He sprints, he shoots, he can heal himself, kind of like how in other games there's often self regeneration if you just wait a couple seconds. So he's got something similar to that. There's no surprises with him. He's got a good gun that has good range, good accuracy. His rockets are very good for finishing off enemies or just doing a little bit of splash damage. Alt, auto aim, unless you're running into a barrier or a D.va, the alt should be a quick way to take out at least a couple people. Definitely take out those support characters. Take out that Pharah with the alt, and then help your team focus on the rest. He is the best counter to Pharah, probably, or one of the best.
Yep.
Yeah, his sprint makes him fast. Easily makes him escape. His rockets, I already mentioned. Healing station, it doesn't just heal him, it could heal anyone around there. So he's kind of like a off support character as well. So if you just have a one support, if you just have a Lucio or an Ana or even just a Mercy, if you have a soldier to complement that, it definitely will keep your team alive more.
Yeah, I agree, and I mean you hit the major points that I had as well. I mean, from the ability to have high accuracy from range with his assault rifle, I think that's key. A lot of players can only have good accuracy up close or far away. He has the ability to do both, and it's I mean, it's not the most powerful weapon, but with his consistency, I think it does a lot of damage. However, his triple helix is very powerful, and usually, I mean, it doesn't really take that much skill to be able to use that. I mean, you just point it in the general direction of where the enemies are.
And I didn't mention before, but a probably not intended use of the rocket damage is you can do something called a rocket jump, where you kind of jump and shoot your rocket at the same time, and it does a little damage to yourself, but it can help you boost up into areas that he may not have been accessible to before. And if you even match it up with Lucio's speed boosted up, that will make him go even further, I believe. I had a couple honorable mentions that I wanted to say before. So characters that were close but didn't make the cut. D.va pre-defense matrix nerf probably would have made it on my list over McCree. Roadhog, back when he was just insane, before they nerfed his hook and his junk gun or whatever it's called, like his shotgun thingy, scrap gun. I can't remember what it's called. But pre-nerf, Roadhog probably could have made the list, or at least made a run for it. And Reaper with his new buffs to let him heal while he's damaging. Like I forgot exactly what the math is, but it's maybe like 10% of the damage you do, you heal yourself. It's something like that. So those are 3 honorable mentions that almost made the cut. I wish D.va did, because she is my favorite, but sadly they did not.
So I'll briefly hit on my top 5 and give a little bit of reasons why I put them in there. Are you ready for this, Brian?
Yeah, so here's Steve's top 5. Wah, wah, wah.
All right. Yeah, a couple of these people I feel like you'd like me putting in there. Okay, so my top 5, starting with number 5, is Mei. So the reason I put Mei in my top 5 is because I think she's an ideal, to me, team player where you can maybe sit back. I mean, being able to shoot her icicle, that's pretty powerful, but her real value is in maybe the ice wall on a big time. I mean, if someone's trying to run away and you ice wall their exit, I mean, that's an easy kill right there for your team. And, I mean, not to mention her ability to freeze people. I mean, that's extremely helpful in, all right, they can't attack your teammates. I mean, maybe you're not doing a ton of damage, but assuming your team is, I mean, even somewhat decent, they'll be doing all the attacking on that person. So she's not in the support category, but she's almost a support player as far as how she plays her role. And another thing that I put her in there for is because her ult is, I mean, that's really hard to beat. You can't overcome that ult. So if you're like trying to push the payload maybe a meter or two, and you throw her ult right in there, and if there's an enemy there, they're gonna freeze and die from your team attacking them, or they're just gonna clear out of the way. So that's a real crucial, helpful thing to push the payload and things like that.
I like that because Mei is Bae for me. I love Mei. She's one of my mains. You hit on a lot of good points. Her ult is actually best for capturing points or control points or defending a control point, because you can pretty much freeze the entire point. So anyone who's on there will probably have to get off. So for overtime, that's crucial. And if they stay on, they probably are going to die. Mei's freeze ability is great because it does a little damage, but it leaves them vulnerable for everyone to open fire on. And you freeze someone, you shoot an icicle in their forehead, and they're pretty much out. Her icicle is very powerful. It takes some getting used to because there's a delay in the time that it shoots, and there's travel time on it. So just get a feel for her, because it's something you got to get used to.
Yeah, it's not ideal for like a Pharah, but if you're shooting a tank or something,
yeah, you can just pepper.
You got a pretty high chance of hitting them.
Yeah, you just pepper them over and over again, and it's very, very effective. She's self-sustaining too. She has her self-heal where she goes into the icicle and she heals herself, and that a very crucial thing that she can do is, even freeze the point or not freeze the point. If she needs to contest, she is a very good one because she can ice wall herself into a corner of the point or into like near the payload or something. And then when that ice wall is about to break, she freezes herself and self-heals. That can buy you maybe enough time to get a Genji or a Tracer or a soldier over there to help you. And so that's something very useful. I think she is best suited at defense, but I have no problem with seeing her on attack. You did mention the thing about walling off enemies from escaping, or you can even prevent enemies from entering. That, it's tricky. The thing, Mei gets a lot of crap because she messes up her ice wall, so just practice using it.
That is true. There's always going to be someone who gets mad at a Mei ice wall on their teammate. Yeah.
I've received so many messages on Xbox Live that revolve around nice ice wall jackass.
Usually, I don't really care as much as long as it's not in the beginning of the game, like when the whole team's ready to go out.
That's the worst.
Irritates me.
I like it. I like seeing Mei in your top 5. I would love to see you learn how to play her. I would love to see that.
I feel I'm not skilled enough. So that was my number 5. Number 4, we had already talked about in detail, so I'm not going to go any further, but that's going to be Soldier 76.
Ooh.
So that is my number 4.
That's a little lower than I thought.
Pretty low from what you expected. Yeah.
What are your top 3?
I mean, I do like... Yeah. So I think that number 3 is going to be a controversial one for you. I picked Zenyatta.
Oh my god, I knew you were going to throw him on there.
So the reason I picked Zenyatta is I think very similar to Mercy. It's just in a different way. So Zenyatta's heal doesn't have to be very close to someone. They can throw their orb on one of the teammates and they can go off. So like a Tracer or something, or a Genji. Just, hey, go and do what you want. Well, maybe you're not buffing the attack, but you are decreasing the health. The Orb of Discord is making it a lot easier to kill certain enemies on the other team. So maybe it's the same thing as Mercy, except it's instead of buffing your team, you're just nerfing the other team, basically. So I think that's very helpful. Also, Transcendence. I know you had Lucio in your top 5. Very similar alts. I think Zenyatta is a little bit better. I mean, they're basically the same. But I like Zenyatta's more. You're not being able to do anything. I guess that's the downside. You're just kind of moving around instead of being able to attack or anything. But I do like Zenyatta's attack. I think it's more powerful than Lucio. You can charge up and have a big attack. You can take out a tank in one of those charged attacks. So it's got a little bit of power there along with the healing and Orb of Discord. Do you have anything on Zenyatta?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Zenyatta is a great character. I know that Steve right now has this man boner for Zenyatta as of late. Like, he's been trying to get off Mercy and onto other characters, and Zenyatta is one that he's flocked to. And I appreciate that. And he is very frustrating to go against sometimes. I will be Tracer, and I'm just like, oh, Zenyatta, he has his back turned, or he's not aware of me. I should take him down easy. But if he notices me or something, he'll throw that Orb of Discord and a headshot or two, take me down, or he'll just randomly have his charge up and he'll shoot it across the field, and somehow I'll get hit. I've been hit mid-dash by a charged up Zenyatta. I do not understand how it happens. In the hands of I wouldn't say that I don't think he's a 3-star. I think he might be a 2-star, but I'm not sure about that. In the hands of a pro, he's deadly. If you combine Zenyatta with another support character, there's no reason why anyone on your team should die. You shouldn't lose fights if you have a good Zenyatta paired with another capable support. And he is probably the most deadly, although With Moira now, I'm not sure, but I think he was the most deadly support character for a time.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of separates him from other support players. His attack is almost similar to another attack player. Okay, so that leaves 2 spots left. Number 1 and number 2 for me. We already know one of them is Mercy.
Are you going to pick Reaper? Is that who you picked, Reaper? Another one of your man boners that you have right now?
I guess we'll see. So my number 2 pick is D.va.
Oh, wow.
So the reason I picked D.va, now tank is probably my favorite category of player. So of those players, I think D.va is a combination basically of everyone. And so she can take some damage with her shield. I know it was nerfed, but she still can be kind of the head of the fight and take on some of that damage with the team behind her supporting. And not only that, but similar to Winston, she can kind of get away from the action or maybe push someone off or something like that. She can, if she's getting low on health, can get away from the fight. So I think that's something that's very helpful for keeping her alive. And not only that, for keeping alive, once she dies, she doesn't really die the first time, she just goes out of her mech. So from being able to stay, I mean, maybe if it's something little, just like you're the only person on the payload and your team's coming, just being able to extend for a couple seconds, I mean, that could be a huge thing. So I think her ability to stay alive probably longer than other tanks, that's big for helping the team. And her ult is, I mean, very, very hard to beat. I mean, the D.Va Bomb will either clear out an area by killing them or just by making them run away. So similar to what I was talking about with Mei on being able to clear out areas, the D.Va Bomb, played well, can really get people away from whatever you need, the control point, the payload, or whatever.
I hope that I haven't spoiled you by playing D.Va so well that you think that everyone else can do it. Not everyone else can play D.Va like I can. Yes, I have no problem with D.Va being on your list. She's my favorite. Ever since I first started playing Overwatch, I was drawn to D.Va. I liked her, and the more that she's one of the most messed around with characters in terms of nerfs and buffs. She hasn't had a full retooling like how Symmetra and Mercy have, but she's had a lot of changes. People can't quite seem to figure out where exactly she should be. Sometimes she's useless, sometimes she's powerful. Just to put your mind at ease, if she's in my hands, don't worry, I got it. I'm good. Yes, her defense matrix can do something that almost no other character can do, which is cancel out certain ults. She can suck up a Graviton Surge or a Hanzo Dragon Strike without it even coming out onto the field.
Yeah.
She used to be able to suck up almost all of Pharah's ult and Soldier ult, but obviously with her nerfs to her defense matrix, that's not exactly the case now, but she can still help out a lot in that regard. D.Va Bomb is incredible. It's my favorite ult to use. I love just, if you watched our highlight reel, if you ever watch us play an NOG plays Overwatch and I'm playing D.Va, you'll see me go to a cheeky little spot. Maybe I'll even throw up like a little spray before I'll launch my D.Va Bomb. I'll wave, and then I wait for the numbers to just explode and the eliminations to pile up. I love it. The most I've ever gotten is 5. I've never gotten 6 before, but I hope to sometime in the future. Her newest addition, the micro missiles, I believe they're called, or the missiles. They're not great, but they're definitely, they can do some damage. They're kind of like Soldiers rockets, except a little more.
Yeah, the triple helix.
Yeah, it's a little more quality or quantity over quality. So they can finish off enemies. I think one of her best new changes is that with her defense matrix up, she can fly, she can shoot the missiles. I think she can still fire her main guns as well. So that was always like, it was always a little different. I think now they have it good in that regard. I would prefer if her defense matrix was a little bit longer, but I can't get everything I want. And when she's out of her suit, it does not take her very long to get back in. So, and she's back at full health when she calls it back in. Even if she's down to 1 HP outside of her mech, I think if she jumps back in, she goes back to full health completely.
Yeah, and I mean, even another point we didn't add was unlimited ammo. So, I mean, you never have to reload, which...
That's true. And
I can't tell you how many times I've died while reloading.
Yeah. She's not... She can... She's good at close range, probably better at, like, maybe the mid, like, it doesn't have a...
Yeah, I think it's like, what, 8 meters or something?
It doesn't have a lot of range. If you're fighting close up, you will do a lot of damage, but D.va's more of an off tank, I would say, or a support tank, as opposed to the main tank. You should have, like, Orisa or Reinhardt, or maybe another support tank like a Roadhog or Winston or someone to complement her. I don't think if she's a solo tank, not everyone can handle that because there's a lot of focus fire on D.va. So you might have to be like leaving your team, flying away, getting a health pack, which it's hard to deal with. So, but D.va's a good pick. I like her, so I want to see more D.vas out there on the field.
All right, so I mean that rounds. So obviously that leaves number 1 for Mercy, as you suspected. So I mean that rounds out my top 5. So I mean with that, I mean those are what we believe to be our top 5 characters in Overwatch. So I mean we want to hear the viewers' opinions. How do we do? Did we get it right? Are there any that we're missing that should definitely be considered a top 5 character? What are your guys' thoughts?
And stay tuned for our bottom 5 or our top worst or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah. It's basically our top 5 worst players in Overwatch, and I can already tell there's going to be there's already going to be one character that's mentioned that was already mentioned in this episode.
I think I can imagine which one it is.
So, all right, well, stick around, for other video, or subscribe actually, and that's when you know when our other videos will come out. And if you liked this video, please give it a like, and like I said, comment on any other characters we may have missed, or just root us on for saying great job, you picked the perfect top 5.
Well, one of us did. One of us picked the perfect top 5.
Maybe everyone should just comment Steve picked a better top 5.
I don't think anyone's gonna comment on that, honestly.
All right, so until next time, thanks for watching.
See ya.
Bye.